Welcome back, everybody. This is episode 9 of the Outcast Haven podcast. We're going to be touching on Flesh and Blood tonight here, and we're going to talk a little bit about Monarch, the next set coming out, and its release date, and how we feel about that gap in the set releases, as well as just general meta talk and a little bit about how we're working to get some like international gameplay set up and at least start to establish some sort of meta. So touch on that, and this episode is just going to be a little bit more freeform, coming off of all the hype and the excitement of spoiler season. We're going to just relax a little bit, talk about how our play experience has been so far. So hope you enjoy. So going into the Monarch discussion to open up, how does everyone feel about the fact that we're not going to see a new set till March? Anyone want to start us off?
I would say the first thing is that my wallet enjoys the break and the reprieve. Gets time to restock, reload. Other than that, I think it's just, and we talked about this with other card games, pushing them out too much. This is just a touch too slow. I think we all would hope to see maybe some starter decks of new heroes or something, maybe at the 3-month mark. I don't know, even maybe a little bit sooner.
That'd be exciting. Like something just
Christmas time. Yeah, Christmas time would be nice. Gives the meta time to evolve and then pop some new starter decks in.
Yeah, I think that I like the bigger length in between sets because, being honest, DBS wears me the F out. Like I cannot. I try my hardest to keep up because I really do love the game, but I just can't, man. Like it's so painful every month and a half spending that much money. So I do like the reprieve, but at the same time, I think, and I hope that they've realized it, and if not, I hope they see it, that it really doesn't take a whole lot to inject some excitement into the meta. Like releasing like a 20 card expansion pack with 20 new generics. That's it. Like that's going to keep people excited for the next couple months. Like you don't need to release a new set every month and a half, you know? So that's my thought. I hope that we get something, just something in between now and then would make me happy.
I mean, I'm on the other end of the spectrum. I'm completely unfazed by like an absurd set release schedule, only because personally I enjoy the hustle of selling cards. Like selling cards to me is part of the fun. I enjoy the challenge of like playing these games for effectively $0. I have literal spreadsheets for all of my games on money spent out and money spent in. I keep track of shipping everything, and I'm always in the black in the games because I just like to sell so much. So it doesn't bother me to have a heavy release schedule, because to me flipping the game is totally part of the deal. Mm-hmm. I think that it's okay to have a little more space. I don't think every game needs to have
7 months of space, Blake.
7. That's what I'm saying. I think a little space is fine. I think I have an issue with 7 months. I really do. I think that if you did an every 3 months thing, it would be fine, because 3 months isn't too long. If I'm being completely honest, my concern in this game compared to some other games is the heroes are the heroes. There's not the sets don't give us, we don't have 50 heroes to choose from. So the meta can't evolve simply out of boredom either, because the only thing that will evolve is the deck structure. You can't change heroes. So if you play Guardian and that's your favorite class, you're going to play Bravo for 7 months. And that's a really long time to play one deck, because, and granted,
Bravo.
Some people do that. Yeah, I mean, that's true. But some people are fine with that. And I think that that's the thing is, but those people tend to be your 1 in a millions. Most people who play card games want some variety. And while the different styles of gameplay, while you can play blitz or constructed, that offers some variance in the game, the problem with not having enough heroes isn't changed. So you're going to get people who are getting a rut and I think get bored.
Yep. Mark, you had something to say? You agree with me, so I want to let you talk, because
I think I agree too.
7 months is a long time.
I think it's way too long. Like, again, it's I think your DBS schedule is too soon, but 7 months is, I still think almost twice, what it should be at maybe 3 to 4 months. So
yeah,
I think that combined with the lack of, especially us in the US, lack of events to spice it up. The other thing I was thinking,
that's only going to last so long though.
Our last game, yeah. Well, we'll give it a shot. But my only thought too is like from our last game, like from Destiny, they took forever in between sets, but it's kind of like a good and bad thing in that for them, they would always release things that seemed like they were broken. And so for a little while, there'd be issues, people would complain, and then they would nerf something, and then that would completely shake it up. So even if there wasn't new cards, new product, there was something to shake it up during that span, good or bad. Where this, maybe they'll have to nerf something, but so far it doesn't seem like anything's crazily broken.
I don't think so, and I like that. I like that a lot.
So that's good. That's like a super positive thing. But yeah, like you said, it's going to be the basically exact same thing for 7 months. So
yeah. I definitely don't want that to be their solution. I don't think it will be. It doesn't strike me at all like that's the route they're going with it. But I would like just some sort of shaking it up, injected in there somehow. However they end up doing that.
My real concern comes from the nature of TCG players, like people who play card games and collectible card games and who have played them most of their life.
Yeah,
they're a pretty fickle bunch. I mean, if we're being completely honest, like people complain quite a bit in the communities, even this community, which is really good. Even in the best communities, people do complain, and people are fickle. And I think my biggest concern is that you see community growth, you see things moving in a good direction, you see things moving in the direction of being very healthy and having a strong community. And if you let people get bored of a game, they'll find a new game, or they'll shift to a game it's like their old, they'll go back to their old girlfriend who, pays attention to them a little bit. And I don't want that to happen, which is why I'm concerned, because I think the direction the game is going, the momentum is really, really good. Yeah. So I'm not saying that I don't trust them as a company, because they've given us no reason not to. I mean, LSS has given us nothing but reasons to trust them and believe in their process. I just think the fact that, even in comparison to DBS, the sets are really fast, and that can be oppressive sometimes. But what makes it nice is you basically wake up every day to spoilers. I mean, 365 days a year.
That could be a little much too, but
it can feel like a lot. But I think at the same time, you can ignore them if you want, or you can wake up one day and it's always there. There's always information out there. It
also seems like
with information.
That is the model, though, of like a successful game, basically, right? I mean, Magic or any of the other ones, the ones that have lasted, they pump it out
all the time. They're always giving,
regardless if people like it. It just seems like that is what
we live in a microwave society.
I mean, DBS is young. Magic the Gathering is old, so they can do it just because they've grown the player base over 30 years. To me, I haven't picked up a DBS deck in 2 weeks, because one, the meta changes so fast. When I finally do get a deck made, it's over. Like, I'm looking at decks that are all worthless sitting in there that were made 4 weeks ago, and not one of them is playable if I want to play right now. Not one of them. And it pisses me off. So now I have this, where these decks take forever to make and to tweak. So I've tweaked Wizard like 15 times. I keep tweaking it, keep tweaking it.
Tweak win it.
Yeah, I'll get it out. I'll get the words out. But to me, I'm on that opposite spectrum where I enjoy a break of, now 7 months is too long. 100%. I think 3 or 4 would be fine, but I cannot. DBS has me so flustered of I can't do it. I just can't. It's too much. I don't want to sit there knowing that card pool so intently, which is so big over so many sets, that now I have to de-sleeve 8 decks that are worthless because they're not meta relevant anymore.
No, I agree. And I think that that's a good point that Blake made too, that like they've given us no reason not to trust them. So I do have faith that they've put so much thought and care into everything they've done so far that there's going to be something. They're not just going to drop us after the unlimited release in November and be like, all right, we'll talk to you again in March when we've got more stuff we want you to buy. Like, I don't have any doubt in my mind that that's not going to happen. Like that's that is going to be avoided at all costs. I'm sure.
Do you think they'll throw anything in the unlimited? Does anybody think that they'll throw anything in their special?
That wouldn't surprise me if they did, if they had like extra.
Yeah, they totally could. I think they have to do something other than just unlimited. I think some people have the attitude that unlimited, they're releasing in November, like they're going to have a release in between now and March. The problem is that it's cards that people already have, or it's cards that people are basically proxying until they can afford the card that's, you know, asininely $300 right now and will be $60 in November. You know, I mean, once the unlimited comes, people will get access to all the cards they want. But the reality is half of those cards are getting proxied right now for a lot of people's decks. They're playing them on TTS, so they're not really worried about buying them for 300. It's just a collector's market, but you can't just rely on just giving us old cards reprinted as the thing in between. And I think some people are kind of having the attitude that that's going to be enough. But for, you know, CCG players, TCG players, whatever, it's not. I mean, it's not going to be enough to just give us reprints.
And I will say too that for the smaller chunk of the target market that is playing actively on TTS, 6 to 7 months is going to feel like a long time. But for a lot of people that are kitchen table gamers, getting a game in every week, every couple weeks with their kids or wife or friends that come over every once in a while, whatever it may be, like that, that's probably not going to feel as daunting, that 6-7 months. Because like I already know for us, 2 months in, we're going to be like, okay, like what's next? Like, give me some new toys. But that's us, and I know that we're not the majority.
But I think that's true. But I think that's important because while people like us may not be the majority of the player base, the small group of people who are like us are the majority of the buying base. The competitive players are the people who tend to push games.
That's true.
That's the people who force the buying of product, and the pushing of new product is competitive game players. So those are the people that, whether you like it or not, those are the people you have to appease. That's why kitchen table gamers play by their own rules and their own metas, because the card pool is different for them. But the card pool for competitive players it needs to be growing and changing so you can keep them interested and keep them engaged, because they're the ones who bring in their friends who are bored of another game and get their friend who's a competitive player in another game to move over.
All fair points. All right, so now let's talk about the set itself, because I don't know, like the way that they stylize their art and stuff, their set headers, all of it does it for me. Like Monarch, no idea what it means. I'm assuming that it's going to be like some like kingdom scale stuff going on with the lore and everything, which I'm super excited for. But dude, I'm just like, that just got me pumped. Like just seeing like Monarch, I'm like, okay, cool. Well, what do we think is going to be in it? Any ideas? I think that we'll get at least one new class. So the set is 306 cards.
So 305 with the bobble.
305 with bobble, right?
Yeah. So the sets so far have gone. Welcome to Wraith was 226. Arcane Rising was 219.
Yep.
Crucible was 198, and Monarch is 306.
So that size of card pool makes me think that they're going to have the cards for the classes already out, but maybe a new class.
I think you probably also give Merchant their own cards. Merchant will probably get some Merchant.
So actually, did you see that comment on the Facebook group? And I think it was actually, I'm going to get this wrong. Maybe it was Alan. I don't know, from Radio Reflex. I can't remember who it was. It was someone that's like a little better known, that had commented that the Merchant not having class cards was because it was released as a pseudo spoiler for an upcoming like class. So I was like, that's cool. Like, I mean, give it to us early and let us mess with it, but then let us know that you're giving us more toys for it later, which is cool.
I'm wondering when somebody's gonna, because I heard that they did this writing on one of the previous sets that they do for Monarch, is when somebody's gonna crack the
someone did
on the Monarch already.
Yeah, the stuff underneath it. That, or what was posted was just the translation from the previous thing that was cracked, but someone did that.
Okay.
Yeah, I did not see somebody cracked the old one. I know somebody cracked the old one.
I don't know if anyone cracked this one.
Yeah, I was gonna say I haven't seen anybody crack this one yet.
All right, well, I'm gonna search it. If you guys want to talk about what you think is speculating, I'll ignore you all, like I am so wont to do.
I mean, I think the new set, I think you have to give a new class. I don't think they're just going to boost merchant. I think it would be, it makes sense that with 306 cards, I mean, you're not talking about, the difference between Arcane and Welcome to Wraith was, literally 7 cards. So you're not talking about that kind of a difference. You're talking about, 80 cards more. That 80 is a significant amount, knowing that they're not, you look at the difference between like a Crucible set, which in just under what they put out in Arcane and Welcome to Wraith, they supported 8 classes. So if 200 of those cards support the existing classes, that means there's 100 cards that don't necessarily support the new classes and aren't generics, which could go to new classes.
What for lore wise? How many classes is there? Is there 16 classes in the lore?
Oh, you're talking about in the book, like that?
Yeah.
Here,
that and it was released to everybody, so everybody has seen it now. It's no longer a spoiler.
Oh no, it's not a spoiler. Like that was awesome that the dude like scanned in the PDF of the whole book. That's
and that
cool.
He ran it by Legend Story Studios, and they said it was cool. They said, go ahead and do it.
Nice.
So, ready? These are the professions that are, some of them are classes. So very obviously these are just spoilers on more classes, but we've got the Alchemist, Assassin, Guardian already exists, Brute already exists, Wizard already exists, Bard, Illusionist, Ninja already exists, Necromancer, Cleric, Warrior already exists, and Ranger already exists. So from that, we've got the Alchemist, the Assassin, the Bard, the Illusionist, the Necromancer, and the Cleric that they put in the book that are not classes yet. It's not even a merchant.
Nice.
So,
but there's some fun ones in there that that I would like to see, more than others. I think a Bard sounds fun.
That sounds cool. Like, how do they do that? Yeah. What does he do? Does he?
Right.
Probably. He has a one-time.
He gets you drunk.
Use weapon. He has a
slits a roofie.
He has a one-time use weapon that he gets to bash you over the head with for like 12.
No, he gets he's a support. He's going to be a UPF character.
He just like survives X amount of turns and then he just wins. You just can't kill him.
Bards are they're support casters in D&D, so we'll see.
I would think that they're going to finish off Blitz characters for the first 8 in this one, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, Guardian has 1, Ninja's got 3. That was fair. I hate Ninja.
I mean, that's pretty obvious. But I'm glad that I made you hate Ninja.
I mean, Ranger only has 1.
Ranger has 1. So Brute's got 2, Mech's got 2, Ninja's got 3.
Warrior's got 2.
So I would like to see another Ranger, even though I think Azalea is still ramping up hard. And the way Mark played her on one of our games, she seems pretty damn solid.
Ranger definitely feels like it falls into that class that's similar to like the Wizard or Runeblade, where I think it got some really good tools in Crucible. I think it still is one of those ones that doesn't win based solely on some ability to pull off a certain combo or something in the deck that's inherently just really good. It feels like those are like the really high skill cap decks that require a lot of effort and energy to play the game really clean and do the right things at the right time in order to win, because they still don't have something as insane as inherent ability to just swing a sword twice. They don't have an ability to do like Ninja to combo off some crazy thing, or like Bravo to dominate a 20. They just don't have that kind of thing that's broken. They just kind of do everything really well, which I think is really cool. But I also do think it can be a challenge at times to play. But that's kind of the fun part of like playing Azalea or playing Runeblade or playing Wizard.
I do think Poison Tip's going to change. I mean, that, man.
Poison the Tips is really strong.
Poison the Tips into what was the other one, Mark?
And Sleep Dart was really
brutal
for you.
If you poison, poison I mean, that's just, it ruins your turn, because you did that combo. It's like, well, I got to just dump hand because I can't let those hit.
Multiple times, you just had no turn because you can't accept taking that. And
Well, and that's what it felt like Ranger was missing before, was like an ability to stop an opponent's turn.
Which it finally has.
Which it finally has. And then on top of that, it has a defensive lockout mechanism with Feign Death into some of the combo decks. Like something like Feign Death feels bad in a Guardian because Bravo's not trying to hit you twice, but into something like Warrior or Ninja, who might be trying to finish you with a 7, 8, 9, something strong, to be able to just literally pay 1 and just I take no damage. All your cards are gone. You've already accomplished your thing. You can't kill me. So congratulations. It's just so good.
It's good. I agree 100%.
I think one of the interesting things about the lore that is important to point out is that I think some of the characters people have mentioned potentially doing older versions of younger characters or older versions of existing characters, but based on the game's lore, they have to advance the lore in order to do that, right?
Yeah. So I think that every new block, what I would like to see is every new block, the world steps forward like a year or 2 or 3 or whatever they want the time skip to be. And then they just update us with what the lore has happened since, and that can be their lore is what's been updated since. And then they give us the new characters. They give us aging Bravo, or and he's got his cane with the hammer at the end, or whatever you want.
Never have a cane.
Or older KO or something.
Yeah, exactly. KO
like
when he's competing with Rhinar for that alpha rank. But with my Google Foo, I did find it. I found the post. So got the translation. This is what pops up underneath the Monarch header on the Fab homepage. So we got that up right now. And I will go ahead and read what that says. So it is translated as, I woke in darkness amongst a ravenous legion. My body birthed from the shadows, my talons formed by the night. And as I grew, my hunger too, and the world of the master filled my mind. Child, let's bathe in the blood of the monarch. Let's dance on the grave of the light.
Sounds like the necromancer or something, right? Maybe
necromancer
or assassin, right? Maybe, probably necromancer. Yeah.
Assassin would be my other one that I'd be absolutely thrilled to see. Just sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think necromancer or assassin kind of fall into those. That sounds like something you would hear in a story about them or a lore about those two.
Dancing naked on the corpse of a ninja and his dog Benji.
his son Benji.
Yes.
Cat's just too busy for that, dude. He's got to lead his whole.
Yeah. When is
I would say is old Katsu like, does Katsu become Hokage? Does that part of the lore?
Yeah. Yeah, and he starts like yelling.
Only some people will appreciate the Naruto reference.
Oh yeah, let's throw some other ones in there too. So they got the new Katsu card coming out, Hadouken. That'll be good.
Yeah, Hadouken. Gotta say it right.
All encompassing. All right.
All encompassing.
So yeah, that is what we were talking about.
Shall we move on to a little bit of tournament play that we started locally?
Yeah, you guys want to talk about that since Blake and I couldn't actually participate this week, but
how's it go for you, Jason?
So we'll you shut your mouth right now, Mark. That's how it went. Me and Mark have played a ton. You'll see plenty of videos with me and Mark playing. So of course we get to match up first. And Mark's very, very great with the computer.
That's right.
Said no one.
That's my number one skill.
It's on account of his good Wi-Fi up there.
He quick net decked and grabbed a Rhinar deck because that's what he plays. So I know I just have Rhinar in my head. Next thing you know, he unmovables me 32 times in tomes. He legit, and this is not an exaggeration, he tome offended me for 19 health in one game. Like it was so bad.
Did he remembrance it back?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh. He just kept remembering. It was so
There's nothing else that could do. It was a Rhinar deck. I didn't look at it. I just brought it into the TPS because I had no time. And it literally, I think the only brute cards it had in it was Barraging Beatdown. That's it. No other brute cards.
So basically somebody's goal was just to not die.
You'd basically just block just tons of immovables, sink belows, and then you just tome and chipped away. And it worked.
I mean, it sounds.
I think we went
like,
to time. It was terrible. Yeah.
It made Ninja seem exciting.
Yeah,
Ninja is exciting.
And so I'll go on to my.
But it's only exciting for the player playing Ninja. It's not exciting from the other side. Listening to the Ninja think through all the actions.
It's invigorating to play in a Ninja. Don't lie to me. You guys, I see the excitement in your faces when we play.
So,
one damage coming at me. I don't know.
So me and Mark played that game. Finally, it got done, and he finished me off. And so then I went on to play a Wizard player who is been around the Destiny community with us. I've played Crisis Protocol, played tons of games against Chris. Love playing games against him. So we were playing, and obviously Wizard struggles into Bravo. So I got him to a huge, I think it was a 13-14 dominate, and I had 20 health. And I'm like, I'm rooting for you, Chris. I want to see you pull 20 damage with Wizard because it can be done. And so he's like, all right, let's do this. He gets all ready, flips the first card. It's a sink below. And he's like, well, that was a great game. And it was over.
Let's go.
So it was fun just for us here in Minnesota, just to have the community come out. There was 5 of us that came out to do the TTS. You guys couldn't make it, but that's immediately 7. And there was 2 or 3 others that commented. So we're going to have a good turnout. But how was your second game? Because I know Mark was a big winner with the worst Reinhardt build ever.
Yeah, I mean, it felt kind of good. I played another Bravo deck with the guy. And it pretty much went the same. I wasn't able to tome a Findale one time though, so I didn't heal, but it just kind of blocked absolutely everything, and slowly, sadly won.
I just have never seen a Reiner deck with that many unmovables. I mean, I'm legitimately throwing out 13, 14 damage. He's like, oh yeah, no defense, sink below. Do you have a reaction? No. I'll unmovable for the rest. I'm like, you suck.
It's funny because it sounds like Mark plays Reinar the way that you should be playing Bravo.
Shut it. I don't care if that's how I'm supposed to play it.
Bravo isn't control.
I did save that deck though on there, Jason, just in case I'm feeling.
I am going to delete it. We need to burn it.
You off. Yeah.
Oh.
You never know when it might just pop its way into a random game.
Man, I'm table flipping like you can do in TTS, but I'll do it in real life. Just get it out of here.
Oh, Ninja would have a heyday with that deck. That'd be great.
Yeah, that would.
He blocked your 2 with. I'm gonna block your 2 with my 9.
Unmovable,
well, I have
Kadachi.
a spare unmovable. Right. I might as well block.
Yeah.
I'll swing my Kadachi for 1. I'll unmovable 8.
Yeah.
I just wanted to overblock a little bit. You could have a couple razor reflexes,
Like that. He blocks so well. Does the arrow come back and hit you in the head, or the knife come back?
He blocked
so good.
Yeah.
So that was, I don't know, it was fun. It was good to get on with guys and actually start our local scene. So I would suggest anybody listening, if you have a local scene or don't have a local scene, I should say, get the guys together, make a Discord channel for your local scene, hop onto TTS. We met a half hour early. We all bullshit for that 30 minutes. And then we just did, the first time we didn't do any software. We just said, you play you play you. We'll come back. Winners will play, losers will play. Mm-hmm. And it was fun.
Yeah.
And it's an easy way to start it.
Discord's really user friendly.
Those are my first games of Fab on TTS. I finally got it to work. It finally updated and somehow functioned. And it still went decent enough to, play. It took forever, the games, but it was fun enough and nice to play, play that other guy and have some other experience.
I'm happy that they use TTS. TTS is really user friendly, and a lot of people I think who play games, especially with everybody in the world, like at one point almost simultaneously all going into quarantine and shut down. Everybody probably that plays games got access to TTS more so than they've ever done it before, and it's just really user friendly, and it's nice because it's a good interface to use to play the games, and then having Discord just makes it super smooth.
Yeah,
it's great.
Absolutely, it does. So yeah, and then we've also got something coming up that we're excited for. So we got the local scene started. That's a big part due to Chris Bates up here, which is he was I want to say like one of the first guys in Minnesota that like started getting into the game, and at least he's the person who told me about it initially and put me towards that Team Covenant video that came out.
I think he started that Facebook page and kind of invited me and some other people to it.
And he was really good. He's a great community involvement guy. He's a great community organizer. He did it with Destiny really well, and went above and beyond the Call of Duty from what anybody would want.
He didn't do it really well anymore.
Until he didn't do it really well, yeah.
Really good dude, just got salty about the game getting discontinued, and that's to be expected with someone who puts their personal time into stuff. So
when you inject your energy and time into it, we also didn't get a lot of kickback and love from FFG, whereas with Legend Story Studios so far, every content creator, every person who's invested even a sliver of time and energy into the game has gotten love poured back on them, which is really, really great from the company standpoint, to feel like the company just genuinely cares.
It makes it that much easier to do this type of stuff, which is great. And not that it's hard in the first place, like it's enjoyable, but if you get like just like a little bone, it's like, oh, I'm gonna do this for you forever. Like,
well, it makes it easy to give up your own personal time, because I think sometimes people forget when content creators, and I think that's something we wanted to talk about too, is all the people who are investing energy into the game, content creator wise. It's such a cool thing to always see people who invest their own personal time, because I think this is not for us to get a pat on the back. It's more just to shout out other community members. We got a sweet shout out. We appreciated it a ton. It meant a lot, always that people notice you, but more than anything, we're just grateful that people are investing their own personal time. I know since I played Destiny, I know Andrew at Dice Commando has invested a ton of time and energy into gameplay and videos, getting stuff out for people to have access to communities and things to help people be better players, and I appreciate that personally, that people would do it. The company that invests energy back into you makes it easier. I know Dane wanted to shout out Session Blood, right, Dane?
So we got the shout out from Radio Reflex with Ian and Alan, that they gave us a little call out, and they were on our Discord and they were watching our live stream, which is super cool to see. Just like I know we've all said before, like, content creators, like, being same page, getting on the same team, like knowing that it's everybody's goal to create community and create that feeling of acceptance is super important, and it makes it so easy to stay invested. So just seeing them on our podcast, like I'm sure, I hope that they know that we listen to their Radio Reflex casts pretty much every time something comes out. I immediately throw it on and at least have it on in the background. So it's just really nice to know. But I also want to give a shout out in the spirit of that, continuing that along. Session Blood, I don't know if they realize it, but we've basically been neck and neck for like subscribers, content coming out, like whether they know it or not, they're pushing us to like stay motivated. And it's funny because I think almost like of the last 4 or 5 times we've checked, we've been like the same number of subscribers. Like I think it was like we were both at 112 at the same time, and then like we were at like 128 and they were 126, and then it was like we were both 134. So it's like it's motivating, and like I love their content. Like the way that they do things is super entertaining to listen to. So if you're listening to this and you haven't listened to Session Blood yet, definitely give them a listen. Super, super good dudes. Really excited just to continue to build this community. So in the spirit of that, we're going to continue this chain along and give them a shout out as well. So
yeah, they're great. I know. I love. They have they have actually big tournaments to play in over there, and a lot of their insight is really critical. And I know I've learned a lot of stuff just from some of their interactions they've talked about with cards that I know I haven't thought of, different stuff. And I know that one of them plays Brood a lot, and another one they had a guest on talking about Ranger. It was just cool to hear their perspective with having done it in actually a big time tournament. So,
and as of this moment, we are tied at 138 subscribers.
Are we? That's super
an absolute tie. Who's the first one to 200? Session Blood? Who's going to get there first?
Who's got the better dick, Jason?
Yeah,
who's got the better dick?
Our dicks are the best
here. You
here.
can't just say deck with an accent. You got to do the whole sentence. Otherwise, it sounds like you're just saying dick.
No, that's what Mark meant by it. He was literally
hey,
who has the better dick?
Yeah.
I also do feel like it's kind of unfair because I love listening to them talk.
I just want to know what we say that's silly. Like I would absolutely love it if randomly they at some point made fun of something that we said that sounds hilarious to them. I have no idea what it'd be.
As Americans, I feel like it's just our content of our sentences.
We speak perfectly. I mean, Obviously. Can't make fun of us.
I think
you guys are just jackasses. So it's fun.
People don't they don't make fun of the way we talk. They just make fun of our existence overall because we're just a bunch.
It's hard not to, dude. I make fun of our
effing Americans.
God.
We're an easy target. Like it's just like they don't pick on us because it's like picking on the little brother that's always hanging around the group. Like we know you're bigger than us, but you're also kind of the worst. So we just kind of let you hang out.
We are also excited that we've got a little bit of a death match on the horizon. Jason, you were sort of heading that up because you had actually played in one of the tournaments that the New Zealanders put on. So go ahead.
And speaking of Australians or Aussies, however we want to refer to them, losers, hopefully. Just kidding.
God willing.
Yeah. So I played a match against Toby Firth, and that's kind of him. And I don't have everybody's name here. I played 2 Australians and 2 New Zealanders when we did the tournament. And then me and Toby continued to talk. And I'm like, they saw the posts of me asking for tournaments. And he's like, well, do you guys want to play? I'm like, well, absolutely. So we just been hashing out the details for the last couple of weeks. And so finally I'm like, I got 3. And because I didn't include Mark because Mark had no TTS when this was going on. And now he does.
Let's go.
So we can include him as well, maybe, if we can trust his technological intelligence level, which I don't know. But anyway.
I wouldn't trust it.
No. So yeah, so we're going to do a 3v3 America versus Australia, battle to the death.
Maybe I can just watch, and I'll probably bet on the Australians. No offense, but no, yeah, you guys will definitely take it.
You're not American, Mark.
How dare you bet on people with a track record, dude? You got to go underdog / wild card all times. That's how you make the money, dude. That's how you make the money.
Always. Look, we're going to be the underdogs. So if
you know when else we were the underdogs, A little something called Revolutionary War. All right.
I was just going to say the Brits. We chased them off.
God, we're ignorant. All right. So
this is what people make fun of, by the way. The nothing that we say, this right here is exactly what people make fun of.
What? Yeah. Because we're great?
I hope they make fun of it. That'd be great.
We're great.
We do it all facetiously, though. At least at least we're to the point in our self-awareness that we know it's how it is. And we just try to own it.
Yeah.
It's fine.
American ignorance is self-aware ignorance, at least.
Mm-hmm.
You mean American greatness, Blake? Psh,
yeah.
Mixing your words.
That's what I mean.
Done mixing words again, Blake.
Hey, I have the red, white, and blue tattooed on my body. Do you? Any of you have it?
See, if we were from the South, at least they could also potentially make fun of them.
I can't get to it right now, but I've got.
I would say by red, white, and blue. By red, white, and blue, I mean Captain America, not.
Oh, geez,
not a flag.
Just be careful there, Blake. We don't need. We don't need any.
Mark
you would have had to hike those up. You would have had to hike those up quite a bit higher to catch any glimpse. So don't worry about it.
No.
We didn't want to see your warrior dick, okay?
Did you guys have some meta talk that you wanted to hit on as far as decks that you're
Reinhardt with no brood cards is awesome. It's what everyone needs to be playing.
Do we want to talk a little bit about the live stream? Hit on that.
What do you mean?
How the live stream went? Playing Cov Dane. How'd that go? Because not everyone watches the live stream. We had 42 viewers. So
yeah, we can
hit that.
All right, yeah, live stream. Started off with Cov Dane. I think this is my 3rd iteration against Blake's 10th of.
Yeah, it's 47th Data
Doll, which I just think the intellect is killing Data Doll. But and then so we play 2. Data Doll is not quite there yet. I don't know if it ever will be at 3 intellect by just the nature of the game.
I think the thing that sucks is that her ability makes deck building around it painful. She wants to have items in deck, but at the same time it's okay, you can't do that. You can't run the items to spam me as much as you want to, but
yeah, you need to be able to hit but the issue is you need to be able to hit a bunch of items, so it feels like you need to load the deck with items, but then if you do that, what I run into is then I just have a handful of items that I don't want to play because I wish I could have them for free and I can't block. So then I end up with a deck where you go, okay, well, maybe I maybe I go boost. Well, that's worthless because with only 3 cards, if you spend 1 to pay, you only get 2 boosts. So there's no real value there. And it's just the 3 intellect definitely, if you think of it in percentage terms, 25% is a lot.
Yeah.
Losing 25% of your hand is a lot. If any deck that loses 25% of its health, Wizard tends to struggle a little bit and have a little bit of a challenge where it's really it's really erratic in what it produces. And I think that's how Dated All feels, is if you hit the nuts and you just like pop 2 items when you hit the Teklo heart, you feel like you won the lottery and you're cooking. But then if you whiff and you get 2 in hand and then boost 0, it just feels miserable. It's really underwhelming.
And then in this, the second match was against Dane's Katsu, which Kav Dane lost, but it was super close game, which makes me believe that it's actually a legitimately decent blitz deck, because I feel like your Katsu is a very good blitz deck.
Well, that was the first time I ran it with that build, so I'm glad that you think so. I appreciate that. It makes me feel good. But
I mean, because you've run it into Warrior as well and done well against it.
That was the first time I'd ever.
That was the first iteration of that
with
specific
the new,
one, yeah.
With the new combos and stuff. So
but didn't you beat the Warrior deck the match after that?
Yep, the match after it, yeah. But that
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Was the first one,
right? It ran very, very well, and then just anytime you can stay with a Warrior deck in anything, is good.
Thank you.
I mean, it still sucks to play in a super boring, but it ran well for you.
Get good. Get good, Jason.
Get good.
Was your Cav Dane similar at all to that Reinhardt deck, Jason? I haven't watched you play it. Or what did you do? Totally.
So I basically, Cav Dane is, I consider him my Gohan from DBS, and nobody knows what Gohan is, but it's a super aggro deck that you just hit hard, and I didn't block. And either I die or I win on my terms. You just go hard and see what happens.
Sounds like your style.
It is. It consistently puts out 7 to 13 damage every single turn. Yeah. And that can be done with only 2 cards in hand because nothing costs resources.
That's right. So really easy to use the new ninja combos to make it so that he cannot block my attacks.
So it's like anything, you just got to stay on top of the opponent. Otherwise, you get screwed.
I think that's kind of like my break. That was kind of my breakthrough moment too, is like being able to time those turns where I take the damage to allow me to put you on your back foot. Like seeing when I have the hand that's actually going to put you on your back foot. That's I think that's been the light bulb moment for me with Ninja. So
yeah. Which I think is why, like,
I feel like you get one chance in Blitz.
Yeah.
Like in Blitz, you literally have, there's going to be a window, maybe, and maybe not. Maybe there's not. Maybe the deck just gets on top of you and it literally never lets up. But I feel like there's typically one opportunity that I've seen where you can afford to take this damage and you're going to take a lot, but you're going to be able to then make them dump hand or take 15 to 18 damage.
Mm-hmm.
So... Or not that much, I guess, in one turn. But, like you're going to put them on their back foot and have to dump hand or take a bunch of damage too. So,
yeah, I think with Ninja, that's where I think Ninja and Ranger feel similar, is like knowing when, if you get behind trying to find your turn to turn it around where you have something to counter pressure them, because some decks don't necessarily have that problem. I think Cav Dane doesn't have that problem. Bravo doesn't really have that problem because Bravo's just going to block until it's ready to throw 25 at you. And Warrior, typically the scary thing is, like with Warrior, is less the fact that Warrior can output a 20 and more the fact that if you just choose not to block, you can, and you're, at 12 or less, you can just get absolutely reactioned into the ground.
Oh yeah, so, like if you're holding into like a weird spot. Oh god, I think that's the part that is like least feel good about Warrior, is that yeah.
Well, you're not pre-doing any of the, you're not plussing beforehand and very clearly plussing. You're plussing after the fact when you are required to have specific cards to defend it.
Yeah, and a lot of those pluses and stuff are one cost, so you just all it takes is a blue card and 2 more. Yeah. So, all right. Well, we'll wrap this up here.
I think that it's interesting to see the evolution of the meta with Crucible and see what decks are coming. I think we believed a lot of things to be true that have held true, which is that Ranger and Wizard got some tools that they're working on using that weren't as natural a fits maybe as something that's already strong like Bravo Warrior. Guardian and Warrior got good cards to go into good decks. I think Ranger and Wizard got cards that boost decks that really needed a boost, and we're seeing those decks kind of finding their way now.
Yep. Yeah. All right, guys. Want to give a quick shout out to topdecktcg.com. So Chris over there has been partnered with us, and we've got the offer code Outcasts Haven, gives you 10% off your total order there. If you go to Top Deck TCG, I'll actually pull that up. That's on the screen now. So check them out. I know that they've got quite a bit out of stock right now because there's a big rush after Crucible released, obviously, and people got their boxes. But he's got a couple more cases coming in that he's going to be cracking and putting up on the site. So be on the lookout for that. And be sure to take advantage because 10% off is nothing to scoff at. So hope you guys get what you want there. Thanks for coming out, hanging out with us for a little bit. I know it was a little more freeform tonight. There's not a whole lot to discuss as far as official announcements. So as those come out, you can be assured that we will be discussing those as well. But in the meantime, appreciate you hanging out with us. Have a good night. Talk to you next time.
We're coming for you, Australia.